Hello and welcome to my first team for SuperCoach 2024. Super excited. George summed it up to a T. 25th isn't actually Christmas. The team picker is Christmas, and I'm bloody so excited to get into this one. Bit of a late upload. A few teams being posted within the last couple of days. I'm a bit late to the party, but nonetheless, I've had a lot of time to sort of think about my selections and have a bit of a dabble and. Just got off the phone with Supercoach with DR, always great company and giving me all the wisdom that he knows, and he did his team reveal as well, and it's looking very good. A lot of similarities to mine, a few things are different, but yeah, in summary, it's a very very similar lineup, and I suppose great minds think alike, one would say, but yeah, pretty stoked with how it is. We'll get out of this. This is just last year. But so bloody pumped. Yeah, can't wait to just tinker around with it. And straight off the bat, one thing I am going to say is which is a really critical thing that I learned from last year in particular, is with the team picker. I look back at the one that I had, 12 months ago from now, and I think if only I started that. I just made so many changes over the practice matches, the community series, and got sucked into certain picks that just bloody bombs, like your Bruin types, your Flanders of last year. This year is a little bit of a different story because he's proved what he can do. We'll talk about him later on. But there's just so many picks that weren't really in the conversation until March, and then they just went to shit. So yeah, I'm going to back my gut and just sort of, I don't think I'm going to make too many changes. After being on the phone with DR, I have scrapped a few. I did post a bit of a slap-up team on my Twitter. Get around that if you haven't already. I'll do plenty of team updates and BBL stuff as well. Bit off topic there, but follow my Twitter if you haven't already. But that team was a good team, but I didn't really take into account the buy planning, and I have turfed a few players, but we'll get into it anyway. So defense, yeah, I've gone heavy here. So the two big guns in Sicily and Stewart, and then I've got my man Ridley. I don't know if you noticed in the background, but Ridley is my favourite player by a country mile, and it's just going to be so fun owning him. And there's a bit of a stat that I like about Riddles that I don't think many people really know. So when he got concussed last year against Port Adelaide over there, that was a rough game. That was sort of, I think that determined our season. Ever since that game, we just went to shit. But he was averaging 119.7 in a 5-round stretch there before that injury. So you just think to yourself, and he started really good. Like he was on about 20 points in the first quarter and then got injured, and then that was it. Subbed out. So I think with the addition of Ben Mackay, I think this pick can only have upside. And worst case scenario, he hovers around 90, 95 and just becomes a cover player, like a D6, potentially a D7 with the additional loophole. So that's my plan for Ridley, but I don't actually think that's going to happen. I reckon he'll be a really nice pick. And I don't know if he's top 6, but I really do think he can knock on the door and maybe even top 8 to 10, just become a really nice, consistent pick for us. And it's going to be fun going to footy games every second week as a member and watching him play in my team if he can play well. So, yeah, really happy with Ridley. Hayden Young's an obvious one. He's got the role change, playing more midfield. He's going to be a gun. He will not leave my team. Zach Williams, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of him, but that price is just too good to pass up. Unsure about his buy as well. It's not the best buy, but I think it is best 18 on field as well. That's a new rule as well in Supercoach. So they've actually scratched round 0, which is really nice. It changes everything. So I've really thought about it, and yeah, as I said, DR and I we elaborated a fair bit, and my team has changed because of that. So yeah, Williams I think is fine. He'll be good. And then Curtin is a lock, and then yeah, Busslinger and Caulfield are some doggies rookies that I think will get games particularly early. So that'll be good. Now midfield, I had Dacos about I reckon half an hour ago. I don't have him anymore. DR talked me out of it, and for good reason. So if you haven't checked DR's team reveal, his first team, get around it. It's very insightful, and he raised a couple really good points about Nick Dacos in particular. So has 2 buys and then a Finn McGuinness tag at some point. So I'd actually be avoiding him altogether. He's probably someone that he's going to be a very highly owned player, and I'm happy to antipod him. And I think his average will be higher than any other midfielder. That's a call I'm willing to make. But I think his total points will be down just because of the buy factors, and who knows what Finn can do to him second time around. So I'm happy antipoding him. Butters and Brayshaw have the same buy. It's a really good buy as well. So keep that in consideration. The Port Adelaide and Freo players, great picks, hence why I got Young as well. So I think these three in particular will be very, very tactical and come into my advantage. Sam Welsh is an absolute lock. He come home. Best player in the final series by a country mile. Mr. September, potentially. Pick one of that famous super draft that we all know of in 2018. And I always think about it. I think about work a fair bit. I don't really know why, but who would I pick out of Welsh and Rosé? I'd probably say Welsh, but bloody Connor Rosé, mate. He's kicking goals, quite literally. So, yeah, they're two really good picks. But Welsh in particular, I just think he can go to another level and actually become a top 5 midfielder. I have no doubt about it that he's almost penciled in to be a top 6, but I'm liking what I see from Welsh, and he's going to be a good pick. So, Matt Crouch, I'm not really 100% with him. I'm not too keen on it, but George raised a really good point about him in the podcast that the Fancy Take TV boys did. So he should play probably every game and only really in the mid. He can't go forward. He can't go down back, not really on a wing. He's like either a midfielder or not. And I think there's a spot available for him. I think Adelaide really lack that second or third mid. Like Dawson and Laird are just goats, we know that. But that third one in line, I think it's Crouch's up for grabs, short term anyway. So I reckon he'll make a bit of money and eventuate into a very handy M8, M7, similar to a Ridley. Like if it goes bad, it's all good because you didn't really pay too much. It's not like he's 600k, and if it burns you, like it really burns you because you paid up. So I think Matt Crouch is going to be a fine selection, and we'll see how we go. I'm not 100% sure on it though. That one could definitely change. Cam Guthrie, so Abs Magic, this is his pod, saw it on Twitter, so shout out to him. And then I was talking to DR about it, and then DR goes, he's actually in my team. And I'm like, you're joking. So major discount. He was nearly top 8. I think in 2020, he was unbelievable. I think in the first 10 or 12 weeks in 2021, he was definitely top 8. I remember because George had him, and then I think he got burnt by him. I can't remember what happened. But at that price, I think he could do some serious damage and missed a bit of footy as well. So very heavily discounted, which we love that too. So will he be a keeper? I don't know. Potentially, maybe. For that price, you don't expect him to be. But you just never know. And I think value is key this year. So happy with Guthrie anyway. These two, I think they could change, but I don't mind them as sort of short-term cash grabs and just see what they do. They're proven players, both of them. I mean, Matt Crouch, he was the record breaker of disposals, I reckon, in 2017. I just remember him that premiership year where they lost the grand final. He was like the most dominant player in terms of disposals. Back when he was wearing the number 44, a lot of weight to be carrying on your back, but still didn't stop him from racking up possessions. And I think Tom Mitchell picked him off the second year in 2018. So I think Matt Crouch can really come back, not to that level, of course, but I think he can start playing a bit better. And he came home strong last year, back after the season. So let's hope that he can continue on his way and keep doing that. So, yeah, these two are fine. Ramming on a bit, but obviously have to elaborate on these dance with his sister awkward picks, as Shorty says. Give a few content creators some shout outs, and rightly so, because all good people. Great community got going on here. Rookies are pretty stock standard. McKercher playing down back will get heaps of junk, sort of like a Sheasel type. I expect him to get a lot of switch kicks. I can just imagine Zach Merritt playing halfback, and what a junk role that would be. That is the player he was compared to in the draft, that really lethal left foot accumulator. He will end up being that player, I don't doubt that. But short term, as a defender, I just think the ball use is going to be elite. His disposal efficiency, I can see it being like well into the 80s. And with 10 to 15 disposals, that's going to be a good rookie score. So lock in Colby McKercher, if you will. Sanders, I think he'll get a bit of mid-time without Baz, so he's one that I'm pretty keen on. Matty Roberts was good for us last year. In a bit of sub risk, but I don't mind the idea of having a 150k placeholder rookie because that can always change. And then Binns, Clark, and Edwards on the bench, players who I think can definitely get games. Particularly, Edwards is probably not as likely as Binns and Clark, but I think he could almost be 4th or 5th in line in that Adelaide midfield. Apparently, he's had a really good start to pre-season, so definitely keeping a close eye on him. Gawney, that's the ruck combo. I don't know if anyone monitored Max Gawn when Grundy was dropped from Melbourne last year. He went off his fucking head. Absolutely dominated. I know this because I went to the one game in particular where he exploded, the heartbreak game, Melbourne versus Brisbane with DR. And Causa was there too. Shout out to him too as well. But Gawn scored 200 points, kicked about 3 goals or something, just dominated, gave Oscar McInerney a bath. He was solo rucking, 580k is cheap as. And this is a point that I haven't discussed, but English is too expensive. And Bonampally, he's not my team. He's also too expensive. I don't see any value whatsoever in these players that we could definitely just get in for cheaper throughout the season. Probably not English because you're not really targeting him if you're already going to set and forget. But Bonampally in particular, with a surgery as well, a limited pre-season, like 725k, yeah, give me a spell. I'm not paying that. Jog on if you will. But the Gawney combo, really happy with it. And look out for Brodie Grundy. I think people will be sleeping on him a lot next year. But trust me, I think he's going to come into his own and not necessarily go back to his 2019 best. But I think he can get very, very close. So, I like the Gawney combo. Bit of value there, which is good. Archer Reid, he's a player that taken at pick 30, I reckon, in the draft. The Eagles' 3rd pick. Could be wrong there. But the Eagles have lost a few due to retirement. I think there's a spot available for Archer Reid. I did go to school with his older brother, who I think he's playing for Port Melbourne VFL. So, I haven't spoken to him in ages. Hope he's doing well nowadays. But a massive football family, like Zach Reid at the Bombers, Archer Reid at the West Coast, and then the other one, Kyle, he's actually at Port Melbourne, I reckon. So, massive footy family. I think he'll get a good run, and I'm gonna be avoiding the loophole because there's gonna be buyers that's left, right, and centre. You just captain whoever's got a buy, and it's as simple as that. You want the cash gen, take it where you can get it. So I think that is fine. And the dicey, ever so terrible forward line. The forward line's going to be hard this year, but I think this is going to be a pretty stock standard one. So Jack McRae, I really don't mind it because, he's definitely tapered off. There's no doubt about that. But if you're going to tell me that Jackson McRae is not going to be a top 6 forward, I mean, there's just no way. Even if he declines a little bit, it doesn't matter. I just think he's going to be thereabouts. And without Baz as well, someone like Sanders who could really benefit from that absence in the midfield in particularly. Libba's another year older. How can he keep going? Not quite sure. So, McRae's fine. Flanders, he just needed time, didn't he? So, he wasn't the right starting pick last year because he really did bomb. But then in the second half of the year, that's where he started to break out. And I think under the new coach, Dimmer, he's going to absolutely froth it. I did also hear that he and Stewie Jew weren't really the best of mates. It's got a lot to do with why he didn't play very well. And I reckon with Dimmer in the helm as a main man, I think that's going to really help Sam Flanders. So he's probably the biggest lock in my forward line. So keen to see what he can do. Zach Fisher, love the value. Should play a little bit more down back, like McKercher and Sheasel. And there's going to be heaps of points in that North Melbourne back line, absolutely. So we'll see what Fisher can do. A little bit of value there. Definitely not a keeper. Could be, but he's someone that I'm going to use to be a stepping stone. Don't want 3 premiums in the forward line because there's just so much uncertainty. Take the value when you can get it. Harley Reid will be highly owned. I'm going to make a really big call. Come at me in the comments if you will. But my big call is Nick Watson averages more than Harley Reid. Now, that hurts to say because look what Harley Reid's done. He's played probably put out some of the best junior numbers ever. Like I think Dacos is a different sort of player, but just the impact. I've watched a lot of his highlights, and he definitely does have those dusty comparisons. But Already had a couple little injury setbacks at training. He's going to be playing for West Coast. Will play a lot more forward. Where Nick Watson, also being a forward as well, you watch his highlights playing for... Now, I should have done the research before I started the video. Apologies. I can't remember what school he went to. But when he was playing like that school college football, I don't know who it was for, but his highlights package is just off the bloody charts, particularly that grand final. Annoyingly, I really can't remember who he played for. And I also think Hawthorn are going to be good this year. I really reckon they're going to come into their own. So Steve SDS will be stoked to hear me say that. But I reckon you'll see a little bit in the forward line, and someone that I really do reckon will play round one. And he's a lot of money for a rookie, but even if he averages like, your base rookie numbers, like 60, 65, he won't make too much money. But short term, it's good for the points on field, because I just don't know. I feel a lot more comfortable fielding a Nick Watson than, a Wilson, who's probably just going to be stuck on a wing. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Manor definitely plays too. But I really think Nick Watson could be a cheeky smoky. I think it'll be a bit of a rookie pod. I reckon it'll be more than 10% owned. So, big call that, saying that he's going to average more than Harley Reid, but hey, that's what SuperCoach is for, making big radical calls. Probably come back and bite me in the arse, and I'll have that egg on my face at the end of the season, but I'll just a bit of fun anyway. And rookies, Wilson, Cadman, or just whatever. So, this is the team, and very, very similar to DR's. I think he doesn't have Ridley. I know that for a fact. Not many will. Don't think he has Fisher, and he definitely doesn't have Nick Watson. So probably got a couple rookies as well. Probably 4 or 5 picks difference. I wouldn't want my team to look completely like... don't want it to look completely like DR's, but it's a very similar strategy, and a lot of buy planning as well. So I think it should be good, and thank goodness they've cancelled out round 0, because that would have been an absolute head case. So we'll see what happens. Key for 2024 anyway. Get around it, gonna tune off now. I'm not gonna ramble on too much, because the BBL is on at the time I'm recording this video, and I want to see if Joe Clark's still in or not, because if he's out, then it's gonna be pain in the ass. It's another story. We'll take it easy, everyone. Hope you enjoy the team. Keen to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you reckon. Let me know players that you're keen on. Let me know there's players in my team that you're not keen on, and why. I'm super pumped to hear any sort of feedback as well. I don't mind. Tear me in the comments if you will. I don't care. I'm just keen to have SuperCoach back, baby. How good is it? Bloody let's go. I'm pumped. But I'm going to end it here, guys. Look after yourselves. Have a great Christmas. Get around your families. Have a safe New Year's as well. I'm going to save this team. Check out with 2.9k in the bank. Not much, but it'll do. And call it a night. So, as always, we'll see you guys in the next video.